You deserve to be happy. Don't give up on yourself. Have you ever stopped to think about how many times you gave up on yourself? Just because someone made it seem like you didn't deserve to be happy. Maybe you didn't even notice it. But every time you accepted less than you deserved, it was like telling the universe that your happiness was optional. But let me tell you something that changed everything for me. The universe responds exactly to what you believe about yourself. And if today you can find the courage to believe, even if just a little, everything can start showing up differently. I truly believe, and I'm not saying this lightly, that every person who chooses not to give up on themselves eventually finds a path to happiness, even when the world says otherwise, even when it feels too late, even when you can't see a way out. And here's something that might sound strange, but it's real. Happiness doesn't come when everything on the outside falls into place. It begins when you reconcile with who you are on the inside. I know that goes against everything we were taught. We were led to believe that happiness depends on the perfect job, the right person, the ideal body, a full bank account. But I need you to hear this with an open heart. There's no true manifestation if you're not willing to see yourself as someone who deserves to be happy. And before I go any further, let me share something personal, something that made me realize how much life can shift when we decide not to abandon ourselves. For a long time, I felt like I was just going through the motions, completing tasks, smiling to please others, saying I'm fine when inside I just wanted to disappear. I read self-help books, watched motivational videos, even wrote affirmations on my mirror. But nothing seemed to truly work. The truth was, I was repeating words that my mind no longer believed. Because deep down, I thought I wasn't enough. That happiness was a privilege meant for other people. That's when I realized there's no point in using the tools of the law of attraction if you see yourself as broken, small, defeated. The universe doesn't respond to what you say. It responds to who you are, And in that moment, what I was radiating was the complete opposite of positive thinking. I sabotaged myself in the smallest ways, oversleeping, eating things that made me feel sick, tolerating shallow relationships, running away from my own reflection until one day, a friend said something that shook me. You talk so much about self-love, but would you treat someone you love the way you're treating yourself? That question hit me hard. I started watching my behavior. I noticed that every small decision, getting out of bed on time, taking a mindful shower, saying no without guilt, was either a vote for or against myself. And little by little, things began to change. Not on the outside, but within. I felt lighter. I started saying thank you before bed again. I returned to writing in my gratitude journal. It wasn't an instant miracle, but it felt like I had activated a new frequency. And you know what I noticed? The universe started to respond. I began to manifest small moments of joy, an unexpected client, a message that brought me peace, an invitation that pulled me out of isolation. Simple things, but they only showed up when I decided I wasn't going to give up on myself anymore. And here's something most people don't talk about. Manifestation happens when your internal energy is aligned with what you desire to experience. If you want peace but treat yourself with guilt, the universe reads, guilt, If you want love but constantly reject yourself, the universe reads rejection. That's when I started treating myself with more presence. I'd wake up, light some incense, and say out loud, "Today, I choose to love myself. Today, I manifest happiness." It felt weird at first, but over time, those words came alive inside me, and with them came a certainty. I deserve to be happy not because everything is perfect, but because I exist, and so do you. In fact, let me ask you something that may seem simple but can be deeply transformational. When was the last time you truly complimented yourself? When was the last time you looked in the mirror with kindness? When did you last make a decision just for yourself without fearing judgment? Maybe it's been a while, but that doesn't matter. Because right now, in this very moment, you can do something that shifts the course of your life. Decide that you will no longer abandon yourself. I remember a very specific day, rainy, cold, one of those mornings where everything invites you to crawl back into bed and forget the world. But that day, I did something different. Instead of hitting the snooze button, I sat on the edge of the bed, placed my feet on the cold floor, and said to myself, "I'm not giving up on myself today." That was it. But it felt like something in the universe heard me. It was as if that one small choice triggered a ripple effect. I picked up my phone and saw a message that gave me hope. A friend I hadn't spoken to in a long time had written, "I dreamed about you last night, and I felt like I needed to tell you you are special." At that moment, I cried, not out of sadness, but because I realized that when we change our internal frequency, the universe responds with undeniable signs. And that's the message I want you to really take in. Happiness doesn't appear out of nowhere. It begins to manifest when you start cultivating positive thoughts and actions that reflect your belief in yourself. And you know what's beautiful? You don't have to get everything right. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to take one step and then another with the firm decision not to abandon yourself again. Here's a practical tip that helped me so much. Choose one act of self-love per day. Just one. It could be taking a longer shower while listening to your favorite music, or making your morning coffee slowly without rushing, or going for a walk with no headphones, just listening to your own thoughts. When you act with intention, you're telling the universe, "I'm ready. I respect myself. I deserve to manifest what's good." And that changes everything. The law of attraction is not some magical spell. It's a combination of intention plus alignment plus action. And it all begins the moment you stop telling yourself that you're not capable, that you're too tired, that there's no point in trying. That's not the truth. What truly exhausts you isn't the effort. It's living disconnected from yourself. Burnout comes from inner abandonment. And the worst part is, most people don't even realize they're living like that, stuck in autopilot, smiling by habit, sabotaging themselves with distractions, accepting emotional crumbs because they think it's too late to truly be happy. But let me share something that helped me immensely. The right time to be happy is when you finally understand that you deserve to be. And no one can make that decision for you. One of the things that most helped me reconnect with myself was creating a sacred morning routine. It doesn't have to be long. Here's a simple example you can try tomorrow morning. Wake up and say out loud, I allow myself to be happy today. Before touching your phone, take 3 deep breaths and give thanks for something, even something small. Play some soft music and write 3 sentences in a notebook. You can write, I am enough. The universe is on my side. Today I manifest peace. This practice takes less than 5 minutes, but it shifts your vibration. You move from survival mode to presence mode, and the universe, which never sleeps, starts to open doors. New people show up, ideas flow, opportunities appear, all because you chose to believe. Now take a deep breath and ask yourself, what have you been repeating to yourself in the back of your mind every day? That you're not good enough, that you've tried everything, that it's too late. I understand that voice. I lived with it for years. But let me tell you a secret. The universe doesn't care about your past. It only responds to what you're vibrating right now. If now you're willing to treat yourself with more respect, more kindness, if now you choose to manifest a new version of yourself, then now is the right time. Don't wait any longer. Don't postpone it. You don't need another course, another confirmation, another sign. You are the sign. And if all this still feels too hard, just breathe. You don't have to change everything at once, but you do have to change something. Because when you take that first step, even if it's shaky, you open up space where there was only pain before. And it's in that space that happiness begins to grow. It grows wherever you plant truth, intention, and courage. And in the next part, I'm going to show you how that transformation becomes more visible and more powerful when you start reclaiming your own light. But first, let me ask you, are you ready to reconnect with yourself? You know that feeling of rebuilding, even if it's still a bit messy inside? That's what I started to feel. And no, it wasn't comfortable. In fact, it was weird, sometimes lonely, because it felt like I was unlearning everything they ever taught me about what it meant to be strong. But here's a truth no one tells you. The strongest people are the ones who aren't afraid to start over, even when they're scared, even when they have doubts, even when their inner voice says, it's not going to work. You can't do it. And that's where one of the most beautiful parts of manifestation happens. It doesn't require you to be 100% ready. It just asks that you be willing to try. Even if you fail, willing to look at yourself with more kindness, even when you mess up again, willing to keep going, even when no one is clapping for you. Because those who believe in the power of positive thinking know this. You attract what you're willing to sustain, and that includes love for yourself. I clearly remember one night when I sat on the floor of my room, lights off, with only a candle burning, and I began writing a letter to myself. At the top of the page, I wrote, I'm sorry for abandoning you. That letter changed everything. Writing those words made me face all the times I had shrunk myself to fit into other people's expectations. All the times I silenced my own desires just to avoid disappointing anyone. And worse, all the times I pretended I was okay just so I wouldn't bother anyone. That night, I realized that it wasn't the world that needed to accept me. It was me, and that's where the law of attraction becomes stronger. Because when you stop living in conflict with your own essence, the universe finds room to move. You begin to manifest lighter relationships, more aligned opportunities sometimes. Even money starts flowing more easily, not because you did 1,000 techniques, but because you stopped sabotaging yourself. Let me tell you something personal. Right after that phase, where I started reconnecting with myself, I received an unexpected invitation for a project I had been dreaming of for years. No pushing, no forcing. It felt like it had fallen from the sky. But the truth is, it didn't fall from the sky. It was pure manifestation. So what changed? The way I saw myself. I began acting like someone who already deserved it. And the universe responded. That's why I can tell you with complete certainty, the universe doesn't reward those who suffer in silence. It responds to those who vibrate with clarity and love. Want to manifest something? Then start acting like someone who already is that version of yourself. Do you want peace? Then take 10 minutes a day to silence the noise. Do you want love? Start treating yourself with kindness the way you would treat someone you deeply love. Do you want prosperity? Take care of what you already have as if it were precious, even if it's just a little. That's vibrational coherence. It's the foundation of the law of attraction, and it's what activates the universe to respond with intensity. It's not about pretending. It's about believing enough to act as if it were already true. One thing I used to do, and I highly recommend you try, is choose a phrase each day and repeat it like a mantra while looking into your own eyes in the mirror. Some of my favorites were, I am worthy of a light and joyful life. The universe takes care of me. Everything that belongs to me comes easily. I manifest happiness because I am happiness. And do you know what that does over time? It reprograms your subconscious. It replaces the inner noise with a new, clean, lighter frequency. And that new frequency is what begins to reshape your reality. There are days when everything feels stuck. You look around and think, I haven't grown at all. I'm still in the same place. But what you don't realize is this: the fact that you're aware of it now. That alone is already progress. You're not in the same place today. You notice. Before, you ignored. Today, you seek answers. Before, you hid. So be kind to yourself. The process of awakening, of starting over, it doesn't have a finish line. It has a purpose. And that purpose is simple: to remind you that you deserve to be happy. If you want to include small habits in your day to support this new chapter, here are 3 simple yet powerful ideas. 1. Gratitude before sleep. Mentally list 3 good things that happened in your day, even if they're small. This reinforces positive thinking and programs your subconscious before sleep. 2. Conscious shower. While in the shower, imagine the water washing away emotional heaviness. Feel as if your energy is being cleansed. 3. Mirror affirmation. Look at yourself sincerely. Say out loud, I won't give up on myself. Repeat it until your body believes it. These actions may seem small, but the universe understands the signal, and it starts moving. And maybe now you're beginning to feel that internal shift, that tiny spark of hope reigniting, that little voice saying, maybe I can. Believe me, that is already manifestation. That impulse you're feeling, it's not random. It's the universe saying, go, I'm with you. In the next section, we'll dive deeper into how to maintain this energy even when fear creeps in, doubt comes back, or old self-sabotaging habits try to return. Because the real secret isn't just starting, it's sustaining. And I'll show you how to do that in a light, real, and achievable way. But before we get there, there's one thing you need to understand that almost no one tells you. Manifestation is not about control, it's about allowing. It's about letting go of the need to predict every single step and starting to trust that if you're aligned on the inside, the universe will surprise you, and it truly will surprise you. I've received answers in the form of absurd coincidences, a book falling open to the exact page I needed, a random YouTube video with the exact phrase I needed to hear, a stranger in a coffee shop saying something that felt like a message straight from the universe. These signs are real. They appear when you start paying attention. And paying attention is an act of presence, something we lose when we live on autopilot. So, if you really want to change your vibration, start by committing to living more attentively. Pay attention to what you feel, to what you think, to what you allow, and especially to what you repeat. Did you know that most of our thoughts are recycled? In other words, they're not new, they're patterns. Phrases we repeat every single day, often without realizing it. I'm so unlucky. Nothing ever works out for me. Things always end badly. It's too hard to make money. True love doesn't exist. These phrases are like seeds, and if you plant thorns, you can't expect flowers. That's why the shift begins in your mind. And I'm not saying this as a cliche. I'm saying it because it's scientifically proven. What you consistently think becomes a belief, and that belief becomes your manifested reality. The good news: you can replace those patterns with new ones. Every time you choose to believe in yourself a little more. Every time you pause and breathe before reacting. Every time you silence fear and give voice to courage. You are rewriting your vibrational story. And the universe understands this new frequency. It starts conspiring in your favor. You'll notice some people leaving your life, and that's liberating. You'll see doors close, and that's protection. You'll witness new doors open, doors you didn't even know existed, and that is manifestation. And no, you don't have to understand everything right now. You just need to trust that this process is real, and it works best when you act with intention. Here are a few more simple actions that work as vibrational shortcuts, small choices that shift your frequency and open space for happiness. Replace complaining with gratitude, even if only mentally. Closing parenthesis. Say no without guilt. When something violates your peace, tidy a small space while playing a feel-good song. Write yourself a sticky note and put it on the mirror. You deserve to be happy. These gestures are powerful because they show the universe that you're present. And presence is the first step to conscious manifestation. A lot of people wait for the universe to respond with loud, clear signs, but they forget that sometimes you are the sign someone else is waiting for. Your smile, your comeback story, your transformed energy. Someone is watching you without you knowing and being inspired. And that's part of your purpose too, so please don't give up on yourself. Because every time you choose to rise, even after falling 1,000 times, you're teaching the world that it's possible, and the universe values that kind of courage. It rewards those who choose to bloom, even when their roots come from pain. And if this message touched something inside of you, if it helped you remember your worth, if it reignited a spark of hope in your heart, then don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe to the channel right now. Turn on the notifications, because every week there's new content to remind you. You deserve to be happy, and I'm here to remind you of that always.